of course, in these tournaments, you play a game, you lose the next round. You don't play a weaker player. Yes. Probably you might play against a stronger player, right?
Exactly, yeah. It's very tricky. I think here maybe the format helps, and it helps that you are always getting a new challenge. Yeah, so basically you automatically face new problems. You have no luxury, because while in classical chess you kind of believe that, okay, I will have my openings anyway, and then the mistakes that you made in the previous game keeps on coming back, hunting newcomer as well. I just want to highlight one thing, the position that we see in Magnus Carlsen against Fabiano, and now the move bishop f4 had been played. I just wanted to highlight one thing, that if white would have played g3, bishop b7, and then for example some e4, let me try to make a move. I'm a little bit afraid to do that, but let me highlight one thing because I find it very intriguing that caught my attention. Yeah, if white plays the move g3, black plays bishop b7, which I'm expecting Magnus to hope for, e4, d takes e4, knight takes e4. I'm having this idea of going knight f6 check, and after g takes f6, bishop takes b7, and all of a sudden I'm not only collecting that bishop, but I'm trapping that knight on 8. That was the first thing that caught my attention once I have seen that Magnus played the move b6. What is Magnus doing? Of course, he would have never blundered it. He has his own idea, but it was just intriguing.
But you know, it's a very nice idea, but it's somehow unexpected for me, and I'm surprised that Magnus played b6, somehow cementing his knight on a8, blocking the opportunity for his knight to bring out. Of course, for later, probably he just wants to go place moving the c pawn and then bring it to c7. But still, maybe he felt that it's more important for him to bring the bishop on a6 and not allowing e4. So that's a priority for
exactly.
him.
And let me just highlight that, yes, what I was showing made a lot of sense because I wanted to highlight this purpose. But let's highlight also Magnus's idea that before white castles, in fact, yeah, and that was the reason why Fabiano here immediately castled, that otherwise any kind of e4 move runs into bishop a6 check and winning the game. Yeah, because you are, yeah, let me even put this pawn on e4 just to highlight bishop a6 check, and then you have to play knight to only move d takes e4, and congratulations, you lost the game. So it's kind of intriguing. Yeah, Magnus had his idea. Fabi is not falling for it. g3, now clear, I mean castles. Now clear white would love to play g3, and all this bishop a6, no, short castle happened, bishop f4, bishop a6 on the board.
But I think within a few moves, practically, we are going to have a very normal, classical kind of game.
Classical with the knight on a8.
No,
yeah?
But the knight on a8 will come in the next 6 moves. You can make a bet
exactly.
on that.
Also, there is some f6, e5 idea. Actually, to my eyes, is bishop f4. And let me ask Nicholas, what is his take? Because somehow I'm surprised, puzzled by this bishop f4 idea.
Yeah, actually, there was an important moment just one move ago when, indeed, as you pointed out, Peter Carlsen could have gone f6 to immediately claim a strong center here, going e5 on the next move. And he might already be a bit more comfortable. Instead, he played the very natural move, knight to d7, also, of course, supporting e5. But now after rook e1, I think now you just...
the chance.
Well, our expression will be also good, but let's see the players.
And it's on the board, e4 played, yeah, right?
Yes.
Ooh.
Yes. Oh, wow. And Fabi having a drink, enjoying his life, looking around. Does everybody see what I have done? Fantastic stuff. And Magnus, look at this.
And Magnus's reaction tells it all as well, what he thinks about this. But going back just for a second to what you mentioned, Nicholas, f6 instead of knight d7. I mean, we're sitting here and seeing the computer suggesting f6, but let's face it, when you have bishop on h8, intuitively, you just don't come to the conclusion to play f6 because you just cannot do this, right? So chess becomes very, very, very concrete, especially, of course, freestyle, because the piece is already here and there and everywhere.
But look at Magnus's frustration. Sorry that I interrupt, but it was everything on his face. Yeah, yes. He just cannot forgive himself. How did I fall into it? Look at this.
Yeah.
You just want to resign already here, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah, he just wants to push the reset button. What was the first position? Let's go back.
Yeah, he just cannot believe. I know that there is this danger. How did I fall into it?
But it's a beautiful position, right?
It's beautiful.
Beautiful.
Right.
Yes. Let's just highlight, yeah, this D4,
No,
D5,
but
they are
aesthetically.
yes. Exactly.
Aesthetically, I mean, the 4 pawns over there. And this is something very typical, right? Rook on E1, queen on D8, squeezed in between the 2 rooks. Ooh.
Well, it's basically game over. Yeah, now Magnus has to come down to be able to put up resistance, yeah, which is already kind of in doubt. Nicholas, what is your feeling? Is there a way to stay in the game?
Yeah, it's not game over quite yet, but you can obviously tell that Magnus completely missed this resource that white can go e4. And this is freestyle chess where you can be lost, even as one of the greatest players of all time in just 8 moves, what we're seeing here. And Magnus finds the best move, c5.
Nicholas, yet, because I feel like we should be treasuring this moment and we shouldn't be looking at engine lines like how white can get the maximum and like this, because it would not be fair and it's also not a practical way of thinking. Let's see, and finally Fabiano goes for d takes c5, and once we get new position, and now we did get, then for example Nicholas, now you can take it away and say what do you think of Fabi's choice?
This was an excellent choice, especially the next move that Fabi is playing is a top engine move here, going b4, chipping away the block.
Developed rook on d1, e1, queen on d2 is great, knight on d5 is fantastic. But it's not only because it's in the center, but it has another role. As you pointed out, that the a8 knight is there and still has to make several moves black until it can come out. At the same time, b4, loosening up and breaking up the pawn structure there, so knight b3 can come with a tempo. And the h8 bishop is still there, and it's not so easy to bring that out, because once black plays g6, white might even go bishop h6 and give some unpleasant thoughts over there. So it is clear that it's much better to play it with white. Visually it looks like that, and also there is an advantage. But we should not forget that Magnus is again more time on the clock than Fabiano. And it was kind of unexpected that Fabiano went down so much in time, don't you think so?
Yes, on the other hand, he made sure that he gets a position that he likes. Yeah, and we did talk about this, that you also highlighted that knight takes d5. You wanted to get that knight to d5, but then the bishop on f4 was hanging. It's kind of very human that you want to get that monster knight on d5. And I believe that now things have settled down. How much time does he have? 3 minutes 40 seconds with a 10 seconds increment. All his moves are coming naturally. Knight b3 is coming. Now there is also this pin. Yeah, the queen on e2 is pinned against the bishop on a6, but vice versa, the bishop on a6 is kind of hanging as well. So the queen pins the bishop. That pawn from g7 can never really move, yeah, because it weakens all the dark squares. It's so nice to be black. To be white. The thing that I was looking suddenly, the tactics: rook takes d5, e d5, queen e2, rook e2, knight b2. But even that would be a very nice trade for white, I believe, because the light square bishop finally comes off. Yeah, after knight b2, we can just sidestep with the rook from d1 to e1, and bishop takes c2. We take back with the rook, and we have a lovely winning endgame.
Yeah, that simplification would actually worsen Black's position, I think.
Oh, it's happening.
And Magnus thought it's desperate to go this way.
Yeah, it's not a happy choice.
But I'm very surprised that he did that.
Yeah, because with the knight on e8, actually the bishop on h1 with d6 combined with d6 can also kind of trap that. Ever white gets d6, bishop d5 construction. Can you imagine that incredible harmony?
But even bishop d6, bishop e7, d6.
And then d6, yeah. No, this cannot end well, and I'm expecting the rook d1. Kind of very natural. What are the chances, Nicholas? Is there some hidden resource we are missing?
No, you're not. And I think we're all a bit surprised that Magnus went for this. I guess it just goes to show how unhappy he was with his position. And now we see the trade on e2. This is the position that Peter was mentioning just before it happened. White has the bishop here. White has the strong pawn on d5. The knights are still somewhat out of the game, or completely out of the game, on b2 and a8. And yeah, just looks very, very bad. You just have 3 minor pieces that are completely shuffled along the board, whereas the white pieces are well placed. This knight will come into the game soon, and it would be a big surprise if Caruana doesn't win this, but then again, it's Magnus, so he definitely has to be, Caruana definitely has to be vigilant until the end.
I only have one question because I have seen the evil bar. I hate the evil bar anyway, but there was a moment after rook d1, the computer indicated that there was something for black part of taking that.
Maybe d3 after
No,
rook e1?
but I didn't see it. No, okay, that was just a technical glitch. Very happy because, okay, I would already lose all my faith in all my knowledge that what I'm thinking about chess if there was any other move for black. d3 on the board. Black has to try to create some imbalance in the position. Yeah, c takes d3, knight takes d3, at least the knight is coming back, hitting that bishop on f4. But then your idea is bishop d6, bishop e7, isn't that kind of killing?
I doubt that this game will last more than 5-6 moves. Sorry that I'm so pessimistic, but I mean, there is a huge difference between winning position and winning position.
Yes.
This is a position where, I mean, there is not one way, and your bishop's so powerful, the black square and the white square. I mean, can you imagine that you played in this game g3, then later on you played d6, and from h1 you just killed the a8 knight.
Yeah, but you know what disturbs me the most from black's perspective? That I don't feel like black has castled. There is no harmony, and that black castle, what it does with this bishop on h8 and with the back rank and everything, I just feel like the lack of total harmony in black's play, and the knight on a8 cannot move. This one single knight on b2, yeah, which had all this journey, it came from b8, yeah, it came from b8, and Fabi goes.
We have a winning position, and then you have this dilemma. Okay, so how to win it? What is the easiest? How do I play that I give the least counter chances for the opponent, right? And sometimes when I teach, I always tell to the youngsters that win the winning position. If you get a technique to win the winning position, you're going to be collecting a lot of points. But I think Fabiano is a player who is not missing the opportunity of winning the winning position. G5 was something I was expecting already.
Yes.
But let's face it, it's another opponent. The dark square bishop is great anyway. And I think white is going to be capturing on a7. Though maybe knight d1 is an option to attack the a1 knight and the c2 pawn. So there is something. I mean, Magnus is kicking, I would say, but of course they both know that the position should be losing for black.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, there is some hope, yeah, because clearly black is most worried of d6, d7 and finish, yeah. But if after d6 you can do knights, and wow, he collects the pawn. I'm not liking this. This is against my principle that if I'm having a winning position, I don't want to be collecting. It might be the most precise way. I just intuitively don't like it.
Well, and when you have a pawn on d5, you're somehow tempted to push d6, yes. Right?
But okay, on the other hand, now your idea of bishop e7 and then d6 also, yeah, all the more I look at the position, yeah, that why didn't I like rook takes a7 just on principle ground, but no objective reason?
Yeah, it's really, really bad for black at this point. I mean, I was also concerned, why do we even keep this pawn on d3 alive for speeding Fedoseev with the black pieces, and now looking forward to take down the favorite Magnus Carlsen, #1 in the world, with the white pieces. Peter.
Yeah, it's looking hopeless, and he pushes d7. I felt like if already he did not capture on d3, he won't be touching that pawn for the moment. Yeah, it's kind of also very natural. Now, Magnus, how does he stay in the game? Because, okay, d8 queen is not yet a threat, right? Because rook d8, no, it's even then a threat because d2 can be stopped with bishop f3. That's kind of a nice little resource. The bishop can always jump to f3, protecting against any kind of d2. So Magnus goes knight b2 to a4, hitting the knight on a1. Yeah, let's not forget that the bishop on h8 is eyeing the knight on a1, but okay, I believe every single move is winning.
Well, I would go knight b3, I believe. That's a quite reasonable way of collecting the game. But Magnus has very rarely something similar that he has no counter chance. This is the biggest problem in this position.
Yes, exactly. And those who are rooting for Magnus, and I'm pretty sure there are millions of fans out there, and then they see the evil bar after knight bishop suddenly equalizing, well, please don't pay any attention, because I'm feeling like the engine is just trolling, yeah, with all the sympathizers from Black's perspective, because this is hopelessly lost. Magnus sacrifices the knight.
Well, there was a choice to give up the rook or the knight, and the knight seems to be better business.
Yeah, and even not just bishop e4, yeah, this bishop from h1 can
I
come.
would go bishop d5, sorry.
Even, but then knight c3, because I'm also after rook c7 I have knight c3, yeah,
That's
at least
true.
I'm jumping, bishop
And
e4.
your move is on the board.
Rook c8.
Well, maybe simplest. What about rook d8? Or?
Yeah, you can even, but there is this knight c5 trick.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the knight c5 bishop takes c2, thank you very much.
No, maybe
So
he wants
there
to
is
go
no
rook
trick.
d8 takes knight c3, knight a2.
Okay, no, but that
game
is-
is over.
Yeah, that's it, Magnus resigned. What a big win for Fabi, right out of the opening, and he never gave Magnus any chances.
Yeah, basically the blunder with e5 cost him the game in the very beginning.
Yeah.
The blunder with e5, and then also this transformation into the endgame, which was just so bad that even the greatest, one of the greatest endgame players of all time could not come back from that position. 2 out of 2 for Caruana. We have